Welcome to the Lifetimes Podcast. I'm your host, Lloyd Phillips.
And I am Leighton Rowan.
Yeah, it's good to be back, for this real special week. It was a real special week for me.
Was it?
This week. Yeah.
What made it so special?
Honestly, I didn't really do anything.
Oh.
I made it up, but I didn't expect you to ask me about it.
My bad. We didn't go over that in the pre-pod meeting.
Yeah, we sure didn't in our pre-pod meeting. I'll tell you what did happen. It wasn't like an amazing week for me. It was an amazing story in my life. I wasn't a part of it. My cousin had a near-death experience, and I don't know. Have you ever had a near-death experience?
Nope.
Like never, not even almost.
Kind of, but maybe it wasn't near death, but it was pretty freaky.
I don't know what that means.
I shoved a penny up my nose when I was about 4 years old, and I couldn't get it out. So
yeah, you're right. You haven't had one.
That's something I could have kept to myself.
I just said that, and then you're like, it was close. When I shoved that Lincoln penny head right up my nostril, my other nostril almost collapsed.
Well, I couldn't get it out. I was freaking out. I was 4.
By the way, I don't know who it was. Oh, yeah, I do. This is our friend Kurt. Somehow, he ripped his mom's earring out. This is according to Facebook. Yeah. He ripped his mom's earring out, and in one shot, he pulls it out. I guess he was excited with his mouth open and throws it down his throat in one sweeping motion.
Yeah, I saw that.
According to Facebook's how it went, and I don't know how that goes. But she did have the Facebook proof, which was the X-ray of her earring. She had the X-ray version of an earring and her mate side by side in the picture, but one was just in old baby Nate's tummy there.
Yeah, black and white.
Yeah, that did happen. To be honest, I don't know if you probably wouldn't call that near death. I think they would probably kept him in the hospital, but that little pokey, the pokey thing, that didn't sound good.
No.
So anyway, my cousin had a near-death experience. Now, I meant to refresh myself. I don't want to read this. I feel like I should, though. I can't say.
Well, for context, you're probably going to have
Guys, look, please, if you're a new listener, I don't read stuff, but you got to know the story.
Yeah,
otherwise,
don't skip forward.
Yeah, you got to hear it, because that's... This is the most unbelievable thing that I've read, and it turns out it's a family member. So I just want to... Here we go. Okay. Here we go. As some of you, I'm going to read it word for word. If it doesn't sound good, listen, take it up with her. I'm not the one that typed it out. Here we go. As some of you all may know or maybe seen, I've been sent out in an ambulance for my job because I messed up my knee so bad I couldn't put any pressure on my leg, let alone try to walk. But that's not what's weighing on my mind or heart. It was the medication for pain that was given, and this seems like forever. The ride seemed like forever to the hospital. So she just wanted to share with those other people who's had near-death experiences, or what those ask it feels like to think it's your last moments on earth. She was told to think of her most happiest moments, because you will feel like you're going into this tiny rabbit hole and you can't get out. So when the medication finally kicked in, it seemed like only seconds. She was filled with a bright whiteness and a timer in her mind counting down the last minutes of her life. So I thought, quotations. Actually, whatever, it's fine. Every happy moment from the time I was born until my age now came flashing in segments. There was a voice that sounded like Alexa talking to me the whole time, keeping me at peace. Keeping me at peace. P-I-E-C. What?
Keep going.
So Alexa,
I got a question.
Alexa's talking her through this.
Does God sound like Alexa?
He does now. So Alexa, you think that's by design? That's Microsoft and Bill Gates. And what do they call that stuff? The Illuminati, Bill Gates.
Oh yeah.
It's Alexa. This whole
Alexa.
time. She's in your house, people. Let's get
through it.
Sorry, here we go. She was at peace this whole time. P-I-E-C. All right, so which I'm sure was the paramedic that was reminding me to take deep breaths. But those 45 minutes, it was me and the voice. Everything was so peaceful, yet a little scary at the time. I quite seeing the segments, and it was all about the feeling afterwards. I felt like I was fighting to stay alive, but the voice told me, this is what Alexa told her. Or, I mean, whatever. Here we go. And the voice told me, where are we at? I'm sorry. Here we go. But the voice told me it wasn't my time, that I have much to accomplish in this life. She has way more to accomplish. It was not her time. That's what Alexa was telling her. As I felt like I was giving up on the world around me, as I felt like she was giving up, the world around me was coming close. I felt my breath growing shorter, and then I knew that this was me dying. I didn't want to go, but my eyelids grew heavy, and I felt tears forming down my cheeks, thinking of those I was going to leave behind. At that moment, I felt so much at ease and closed my eyes for the last time, thinking, okay, this is it. This is what it's like to go peacefully. And at that bleak second, it was darkness. And then in a few seconds, after a new light appeared, I took a deep breath, and I was back. I was coming back again, feeling the pain in my throbbing knee. And I knew it was another chance, as I say, to do things right. I just remember word for it. So for myself, I consider this a feeling or a thought of what it's like to pass away. And unfortunately, not everyone gets to go with your peace. So just know that it could be, just know that what it could be like once your eyes are closed. There's a whole other meaning behind our life, I believe. So I thank God for the moments I've shared in my life with everyone and everybody I came across in my life, and for giving me another day to keep on living. And now I know why some of us believe in energy and bad vibes, because I felt this energy that was recharging me, strengthening me to keep me striving, that life is what we make ourselves. Life is what we ourselves make of it. So what gives us unconditional love and what allows to be at times become emotionally and physically draining, but to keep on pushing and moving forward. Thank all of you for letting me share the story. I hope this can maybe shine some light on to some. And yes, you guys may say, oh, well, you're hallucinating because of the meds. But I hope this will at least hit home for those of you who know. Love all of you, and may you find peace yourself. And I was like, oh my gosh, my cousin had a near-death experience. And then I saw the post of her in the hospital, and then it said, somebody's response, you okay? I messed up my leg, but luckily they believe it's just bruised, no broken bones. Listen, here's the thing. Right now, for anybody judging, let me say this. What if knees were like hearts? And when you had a knee attack, like if you were playing sports, like what if you're running down the court and they're like, oh my gosh, my knee popped. And like you go down because you're like, this could be it.
They got to bring the defib out.
Yeah, they got to bring it for the knee. I just had my first knee attack. She had a near-death experience. And that's the thing. Near-death experiences come in different forms.
So I laughed about the penny being up my nose and relating that.
So now you're saying that you're relating that it could have been?
I think I did.
Yeah.
I didn't hear Morgan Freeman or Alexa, but
yeah, I'm sorry. I think I might have drug it out too long. I don't know.
No,
but
that was.
But I had to read it. This is a near-death experience.
Yeah,
people, and I don't want to just make fun, but I just think like, oh my gosh.
So what she was feeling in the ambulance was what
she's probably gonna move to a Buddhist camp now or whatever.
What she was feeling in the back of the ambulance is what Michael Jackson felt like his last 20 years of living.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, oh wait, no, I'm back. I'm back. Cause this is thriller.
She was just on those good drugs.
I mean, you can't type stuff like that. Like, why would you do that? You can't even make it.
You can't make it up, that's for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, that's it. She had a near-death experience. Could you imagine if that happened for whatever, every body part, every extremity that you hurt? If you hit your shin on a car bumper,
or a truck.
Oh yeah,
trailer
the
hitch.
back, yeah. And you kick it, and it closes in. Because I'm gonna be honest, I've kicked my car bumper accidentally, old school, like it was a truck. I kicked it, and I felt it closing in on me.
Did you see the light?
I saw the rabbit hole. I mean, I guess officially there's a light after the rabbit hole. Maybe right, but I saw the rabbit. I'm like, oh, God, it hurt so bad, like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got narrow for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. But I've never called it a near-death experience. But everybody, you know, makes their own.
Everybody deals with pain differently.
Everybody. Maybe she thought she was dying. I mean, imagine all the people that tear stuff, ligaments, rip ligaments off of bone, break bones.
Yeah.
And, you know, you just lay there and you're like, it hurts. Ah.
Yeah.
Right?
Ah.
Yeah, I have. I've had knee surgery. I've had a broken femur, like, but in my knee, like bottom part. I've had all that. I didn't feel like, but you didn't know. You know, I didn't know. Could have been my last minutes, but I didn't feel like I was about to go. Everybody's different. You know what I mean?
That's one of the wildest.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm glad that she recovered, though.
Yeah, me too. I think things
pulled
are good.
through.
What if rehab? Here's how I'm going to enter this. What if I was talking about Nintendo the other day. I was in Pittsburgh, and I don't. There were some other people in the room. This is how I'm going to tie it to that story. What if her rehab was the Nintendo Power Pad? Do you know what that is? Did you say you knew what that was?
No, I'm too young.
So yeah, he is too young. But I was thinking that he would know because Leighton always. He says he watches the same cartoons or has in movies and things. And actually, he does. Like, he can talk about it. But I didn't think he would know. So, Nintendo, when it came out, they had two controllers that had the gun, the duck hunt gun. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Which is a silly game. You could literally just go up to your TV and just point. The technology. How did that work?
I don't know.
Actually, let me get sidetracked for a second. Old school Nintendo. Setting in your living room floor, pointing at those ducks. How did that work?
I've always wondered that. I mean, even the arcade game version.
Yeah, you know, I never thought of that though.
I don't know. Is it like a Bluetooth signal? But I wouldn't.
But like in 1980.
Yeah, that's exactly
5 or 6. I don't know. That's weird. But anyway, so it came with that. But then they started putting out Nintendos, and it had this Power Pad, and they had this Olympic game. I don't know. I think a lot of people around my age, you probably know. The problem with the Power Pad is it didn't come with anything that would keep it on the floor. So there were, for memory, there were 2 sides. So it would have been 4 across, 4 across, 4 across, like 16 total round pads. So you had to do, like when you were doing the Olympics, you had to basically do happy feet, right? Like happy feet that it'd make you do in football or basketball, where you did this with your feet. You'd have to do happy feet, and that's how you're running. The problem is those old Power Pads didn't stick to the floor. They would slide, so it would wad up on you.
Yeah.
So eventually, the only way I could ever play the Power Pad is if you got on your knees and used your hands. Like, that's how you did it. All right? It's probably a great idea, but we were kids. We weren't smart enough to stick it to the floor.
Yeah.
So there's the Power Pad, and then there was a glove. Now, the reason that I started thinking about the glove, because somebody started texting me, just random, about how he's like, he's like, I got a power glove. People think I'm tough, or whatever he said.
Yeah.
I'll just look it up. He started talking about this thing. I never had the power glove. This is random text for my friend Tate. You know, you know, the Netflix Tate. Random text. Since you obviously don't know anything about it, it's basically a cyborg. Oh, I'm sorry. Out of nowhere, he's like, you don't know a thing about this NES Power Glove. This was March 20th, Monday, like this right now. This last week.
Out of the blue.
Yeah, he's like, you don't know anything about this NES Power Glove. And I was like, who don't? And he wrote, you don't. And I was like, I'll Power Glove. I commented back. And he just wrote, ha ha. And then I don't comment anymore. And then 4 hours later, he's like, since you obviously don't know anything about it, it's basically a cyborg hand. That's what he said. So I was thinking about this Power Glove. And I used to only see that in magazines.
Yeah.
It was literally like a glove. It went up to like the middle of your arm and it had buttons on it. But I think you could punch like the screen.
Okay.
I don't know how it worked. Because to be honest, that Power Glove, from memory, I'd have to look it up. But I think it was probably $150. I think. But I think Nintendos were $150 back then. So, no, I didn't have a Power Glove. Nobody I knew had the Power Glove. And then they also had this thing the Game Genie. You know what those are?
Refresh my memory.
Game Genies are where, so we didn't have any of this. We didn't have money. Like we didn't, so Game Genie is where you'd buy a game. Let's just say you had a hard time trying to beat a game. Game Genie, you would stick the cartridge into it, and then you would stick that into the Nintendo, and it was a cheat system.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So you could like have unlimited lives. You could jump out of the screen. Like it was no, we didn't have that. So what's funny is he's popping off about this cyborg hand. The reality is, yeah, I know all about it because it was in these Nintendo magazines. That's back when the world bought magazines to see things. Because, and I still, like when you walk in the store right now, there's still whole magazine shelves.
Yeah.
Who buys magazines?
I don't know who in the world. I don't even see people looking at them.
I never do. And honestly, why would you? Because if I looked at the magazine, I could go look it up for free. Like I'm not going to magazine. Some of them, some cool ones, you know, when you had to buy them, they're like $10 a magazine. Yeah. Well, you don't have to do that anymore. Anyway, that's how I would see Power Glove. I've never actually laid eyes on one in my life.
You should try to buy one. Surely there's one on like eBay or something.
If I do, I'm just being there power gloving all night long. I know Tate just randomly sent that, but there's no way he has a Power Glove.
You don't think so?
No, he don't have a power. And why would you even buy one? I mean, yeah, you can get a Nintendo.
I mean, he's a survivalist.
I don't remember well, what if the world went south? Which is not a political show, but cross your fingers because Trump gets elected. Let's just see what happens. But if he puts this cyborg hand, what if it goes south and he just wears that out in the woods?
He just wears that. Nobody wants to mess with him.
Like that's a cyborg hand. He's got a Power Glove. He's like, you're not Power Gloving me in the face. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we never had Power Gloves. Kids don't have regular kids don't have those. The only kids that would have those, I would imagine, if it was a real kid, and there were kids probably similar to him. Like if Richie Rich was alive, he had Power Gloves.
Oh yeah,
he had the Power Glove.
Yeah,
I don't know anybody that's ever had one.
Except Tate.
I got to look it up.
Allegedly. I'm telling you, you got to buy one on eBay.
I don't want to look it up.
You can just wear it through a whole episode.
I don't want to look it up in the middle of the show, but I don't want to. But I'm going to. Guys, you got to hear this. It's live. Ready? Nintendo Power Glove for sale.
Yeah, this guy talks to his phone. When Lloyd wants to look something up or text someone, he just talks to the freaking phone the whole time.
Yeah, but you know how it works better when somebody doesn't talk while it's searching, and then it picks up everything you said.
Yeah, you want to know. You want to know how else it works better not speaking in it, and then having a backspace because it doesn't know what you said at all, and then you have to type it out anyways. It's counterproductive.
In eBay, I see one for $150. It's retained its value.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
It's 40 years old and it's retained its value.
That actually looks like an insane technology.
It does, but also look at all those buttons. What are you going to play with one hand on the thing?
Playing the guitar.
Oh, actually, that's what's good about this show. Can you do that on the shorts? Like we're just throw the Power Glove up in the background? Yeah. For a split second. So they're like, oh, you don't own it. Yeah. Nor do you. Nor does anybody I've ever known in my life.
But you can for the low price of $149.99.
Yeah, I just don't think I'd buy it though. But anyway, yeah, the $150 currently. I think that's what they cost a long time ago. That's what I think. So you know how well for those of you that listen, you may not know. There's a lot of people that listen all the time. You could probably assume. I was in Pittsburgh the other day and I was in an Uber. Have you ever Ubered?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty common form of transportation these days.
Yeah.
I don't even know if there's...
Especially when I travel.
I mean, I'm in Pittsburgh. I'm in a city. I don't recall seeing a taxi at all, actually.
I haven't seen a taxi in at least 10 years. 5 years.
Oh, yeah, I did. So... They do have public transportation. They have buses, and then they have this thing that I thought it was the subway. That's what.
Oh, okay, like a transit system.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back to Uber in a second, but I thought that it was. Well, the transit they have buses like a double bus. You know, they're connected by a what's that? What's the old squeeze box they play? You know that?
Oh yeah.
What do you call it? Louisiana Cajun music. What do you call that thing? You know, the old squeeze box.
I know what you're talking about.
Well, that's what connects those two buses in the middle. That's what it looks like. So anyway, there's that, and then they have this thing. Once again, not to repeat myself, a subway, but it's not a subway. It's called the T. So you go down below the street. So myself and my buddy Cody, we walked down there, and we were getting on the subway. Is what I think. And I think it's going to take us to cross the river. So I'm like, technology these days, I guess they've bored under the river and the subway is going to cross it. Just thought it was cool. And I'm going to say door closes. We sat down. It takes off. I'm going to go 150 yards. We're outside and we're on a train. Like it's a train. Yeah. It's not a subway. It's a train.
Yeah.
I thought I was riding a subway.
Yeah, I've been on one of those in, I think it was Boston. I don't know, somewhere like that where it was the same type. You're above and then you go below and then you go above.
Yeah, Boston's like the Big Dig. I thought that was a highway though. The Big Dig. Do you know about that?
No.
We won't get into it. Anyway, so but I felt like I got an STD riding on the on the train.
Yeah.
And it has carpet seats. Why in that environment would you put carpet seats?
Yep, it's disgusting.
Anyway, so I just told him when we got off, I was like, listen, man, I'm not getting back on that train. And it wasn't like the people, it's not like, I didn't feel like I was on a New York subway where, just stare at the ground. It wasn't like weird, nothing like that, but it felt gross. Like this guy had his dog in there, there's some crackheads in there. Okay, I guess there was, maybe some of the crackies made it seem like that, but I didn't want to ride it back. So we Ubered back. And here's what I thought was funny. Normally when you're just Ubering with people, hey, how are you? Whatever. I was with Cody and I started telling the Uber driver that I used to date Cody's mom, and I used to be Cody's dad, and he was devastated when him and his mom broke up, when we broke up. For those of you that don't know, Cody's like 4 years younger than I am. So and I'm saying this stuff. Cody's even laughing. I'm not smiling because that's what I do when I start telling these things. The Uber driver wasn't having it. He did not appreciate that I was dating Cody's mom.
No, he didn't think it was funny.
Yeah. He wouldn't even talk to me. He would only answer Cody.
What?
Well, he probably felt bad for him. I don't know, man. I mean, get over yourself. Taxi driver. Well, Uber driver. He was like mad. He wouldn't talk to me. He just talked to Cody. He talked at first. That's how I know. Obviously, I'm going to assume maybe his friend dated his mom back in the day. So, only thing I can come up with.
It brought up bad experiences for him.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can really come up with. So for those of you that know, and we didn't say it at the first. We didn't.
No.
We didn't bring up speakeasy /
speak pipe. A speakeasy is something that they have.
Don't go to speakeasy. Yeah, those are illegal. That's prohibition stuff. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Go to SpeakPipe / Life and Times.
Speakpipe.com / Life and Times.
Oh, you say that again because I blew that.
Speakpipe.com / Life and Times.
You got to put .com / Life and Times? Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, what he said. I don't think I've said that way. Maybe.
I think you have.
Okay. Well,
you said like / or something. So, you were talking about Uber. I have a question.
What's up?
That was on my mind. What do you? Well, it's kind of a doozy. It's kind of like a 3 to 4 to 5 part question. It'll be longer than your cousin's post.
Okay.
What do you think about tipping?
What?
And in a sense of tipping, like if you're
weird thing that you bring. Okay, yeah. I want to hear it. But weird thing that you bring it up. I don't have to tell the whole story, but I went to eat last night, and my daughter told me that my mom and dad told her that myself and my wife tipped too much.
Interesting. Okay, so
yeah,
so maybe that'll. Yeah.
And my response was, she's never been a waitress, so she has no idea.
Yes.
Now go ahead.
Okay, so obviously it's not even a question. When you go out and you sit somewhere, you tip. Correct?
Yeah.
What about in a situation where you're calling in for pickup? So you go to the place and you pick it up in the drive-thru, or you go in and pick it up, or like a Sonic car hop style. And the reason I asked is because I went to lunch last week, and I went through the drive-thru, and there's now almost anywhere you go, there's tipping options for you going through the drive-thru to get your food. I always tip, but I know there's people that don't, and then I question why I tip.
All right, so here's where when there's a waitress at a restaurant, and I got to be, it doesn't matter what the meal is. Standards 20%.
20%.
And if you like them more than that, tip them more.
Yep.
I used to think it was 15, but I think it's switched to 20.
Yeah, it's been 20 for.
Yeah, and so but I always do that. And what I say about that is, if you're going to go to that restaurant, whatever the restaurant is, if if whatever food you order, it's 20%. If it falls within $5, $10, but it is at least 20%. That's just what it is. If you go to a restaurant and your meal's $200 and the tip's 40 at that, well then that's what it is.
Yeah,
shouldn't have went to that restaurant. If you're going to give them $3, that's what I think about.
I agree
because that also is their livelihood. And to be honest, in the waitress world, and I don't even know. I mean, I don't even know how to be funny about this because it's not in the waiting world. Like people work their way up to those fancier places. So it may sound funny to some people listening and be like, oh, professional waiters and wait. Yeah. I mean, the nicest restaurants you ever go to in big cities and a 65-year-old guy walks up to your table and like, hey, how are you? And you start talking like, and how long have you worked here? And he's like, literally 43 years.
Yeah.
He's the best waiter guy you've ever had.
Yep.
So like you work up to that. So don't go to those fancy restaurants if you're going to give somebody $3.
Yep.
That's what I think about it.
Yep.
So Sonic, I'm cool with that. Give him $1. It's what it, if you run it out to my car, I don't even care if I ordered if my meal's $73, give him $1 or $2.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you 20% because you walked it to the car.
Yeah.
Here's where now I'm starting to get irritated by it.
Yep.
When I go into a fast food restaurant, just like at least the car hop brings it out to your car. I'm still standing at the counter.
Yeah.
And nobody's done anything, and it pulls up and it's a tip option.
Yeah.
And they're standing there, and all you did was literally, I want a number 3 and a large unsweet tea.
Yep.
And then when they print it out, it says tip. No.
Or sometimes it's even simpler than that. You go up to them and say, hey, I have a pickup order for Lloyd.
Yeah. See, now even in that scenario, I mean, honestly, do I usually give them a tip? Yes.
Well, so do I. But
I think it's stupid.
Yeah, in some places you go, like the minimum tip, if you can't customize, or it'll start at 15 and then go to 20, 25, and then custom. And I'm like, what? I just thought it was crazy because it's to the point, like, am I gonna have to like start tipping my doctor when I pay?
Why wouldn't you? You don't already?
No. Huh? I don't know. I just think it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't.
Because it's just showing up more and more
I don't
places.
like that. I don't like that. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, it's not political. I don't want to get into it.
I have a take.
Like,
I have a take.
I don't. I mean, I just for the really fast food place. By the way, my new favorite place in Pittsburgh. It's an Indian food place, and it's awesome. Like there's your meats, and then there's vegetables, and then there's the marsalas that you want. It's called Chula. It's the greatest. Oh man, it's so awesome. But there at that place, they literally say, what do you, watch this. This is real time here. Ready for this? Hey sir, how are you? Good. How are you? Good. I need, I guess the top plate. I don't know what it's called. I forget what it's called, but it's the chicken. It's chicken and rice is all this. Yeah, chicken and rice. What kind of sauce? This tiki marsala. Okay. What spice level? 8. You want anything to drink? Unsweet tea. Okay, that'll be $28. They print it out and it says tip on it. He didn't do anything. He's not even the guy cooking it. He's just the guy that punched it into the thing. Yeah. No. Yeah. Now you could say, is it for the guys that are cooking it? I don't know. I'm just saying it's a faster. It's like the Chipotle version of Indian food is what it is. And it's awesome. But no, I don't think you should tip people like that in that manner. I don't. I do every time, but I don't. No, yeah, I agree. You know, this without getting to the point, because we don't want to go that route. You know who you don't have to do that at? McDonald's. So, I won't dive into it. McDonald's sucks.
It does, but they've made changes and there's no tip options on their stuff. So, McDonald's, even though they've made changes, oh, you just mean to the tip option? Or they made changes to their food. McDonald's sucks. I hate McDonald's. No, not their food. Their food is garbage. I don't go there ever. But when I go there once every blue moon. I've said this before. You know the only time I go to McDonald's? When? Is if I'm on a road trip and it's nighttime and somehow I've either not passed an exit that was worth anything, or I just started the trip too late or whatever, and the only thing that's open is McDonald's. The only thing, then I will pull in there. Yeah. And I'll even say, I know it's garbage, but I'll even say, while I'm actually eating it, if you don't eat it all the time, I'm like,
that tastes pretty good.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
But I'm not going back tomorrow.
Well, we've had McDonald's like 3 times together late at night.
Yeah, but I'm not going back tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm not going to do it.
No.
And you can't reheat those fries. Once those fries cool down,
they're done.
Yeah, and also their food. It doesn't even mold. Now, I'm not that smart with the food in the food world, so I'm not going to tell you how mold forms. I don't really know, to be honest. I don't know what ingredients cause mold, but those buns, the meat, the fries, if you put it in a bag and set it out in your garage, it'll look exactly like it does the day you bought it.
Oh yeah. Or if you have a child and she's messy and gets a piece of French fries and cheeseburger in your truck, and then you go clean it out 2 months later, it looks the same. Not speaking from experience.
It might have made your car smell like McDonald's for like 2 weeks, and then it's just like
it's just there.
Yeah, it's just like a plastic something you put on your wall. It's like those fake desserts at restaurants.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, like that. You can't even get it. Doesn't grow mold. It doesn't smell anymore. It's just like a hard plastic. Yeah, that's what it looks like. That can't be healthy. No, I mean it's not healthy. Everybody knows it's not healthy, and which we had said on the podcast. I think we said on the podcast. And I remember when McDonald's came out and it says now with real chicken.
Yes.
And that was like, what are we eating? We already talked about that.
What have we been eating for this? Yes.
Yeah, we talked about it, so we don't have to go into it. But yeah, I don't. Where was I going? How we get
tips?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, tip your local McDonald's. Now, do I feel like which I've done before? I mean, do I feel like sometimes I would randomly hand somebody a large tip for no reason at some of those places? I have just, well, now I'm on the podcast talking about it, but it's not a specific story. So I'm not like trying to get any kudos, but I'm just saying like, just to see them be happy, like real happy, you know? Yeah. Now I've done that, and that's like the same concept of like, it's better to give than receive. Now I've often said I like to receive a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Please let me receive. But I actually get greater joy giving people stuff who I can visibly look at them and know that they appreciate it. Yep. Than if you gave me anything. Yep. I agree. That I actually believe. I'm not just being funny. And I always think that's the best feeling. Yep. But then when you give somebody that you think is cool, and then they're like, "Oh, thanks." Yeah, yeah. I'm like, yeah. That's an awesome feeling. It makes me want to go kick it off the table, and smash it. Be like, "You like it now?" Yeah.
Yeah. I've had a few experiences like that.
How many? For those of you you can't. I take a drink out of this water cup. How many? What's it hold? Like 70 ounces of water? Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Jeremy slam it down? Yeah. Just to prove a point. Yeah, anyway. So, well, I'll tell you what. Before we get off here, I want to thank everybody for listening to the show. If you have your interest piqued about a near-death experience based on my cousin's trials and tribulations because she's got a bruised knee. Yeah. Feel free to talk about it on Speakpipe.com. Yeah, speakpipe.com /
Life and Times.
Yeah, that's it. No speakeasy.
Shout out to the dude who left the comment on our YouTube, and it just said, "This is cringe." I appreciate you for watching and interacting with the YouTube. It helps.
What's his name?
Joshua something Jr.
Hey, Joshua Jr. So yeah, thanks for leaving that message.
It actually helps our engagements, and you gave us a view, so we appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate your view, Josh. I probably dated Josh's mom back in the day. Josh, I'm not your dad, you pervert. Quit trying to hit us up on this show. He's like, I'm going to just ease into it. I don't want to tell them all at once. I've been married 20 years, Josh. Yeah. Get over yourself.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, anyway. So, yeah, I guess we love each other. I don't know. I meant to say love everybody like I always do. Josh, no, it's not for you, Josh.
He's not your dad,
Yeah,
Josh.
Grow up, Josh. Yeah, whatever. So, all right, well, thanks for listening, and love everybody. That's what I meant to say. Put P. Rose in the Hall of Fame.
Dwayne Wade.
And love everybody. All right. Have a good week.